You probably think vegetables are always good for you, and in most cases that's true. They're full of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that your body needs to stay strong as you age. But here's the shocking truth few people ever hear. Not all vegetables protect your brain or your heart. In fact, some of the ones sitting in your kitchen right now could quietly increase your risk of stroke, especially if you're over 60. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Because for decades we've been told, eat more vegetables, they're the key to longevity. And while that's still true for many, science now shows that certain vegetables can have the opposite effect on seniors, causing inflammation, raising blood pressure, and thickening your blood in ways that silently endanger your circulation. Imagine this. You wake up one morning feeling perfectly fine. You make your usual breakfast, maybe an omelet with tomatoes or a quick salad for lunch. You've eaten these foods for years, believing they're healthy. But deep inside your arteries, something different is happening. Tiny clots are forming, blood is flowing slower, and oxygen isn't reaching your brain as easily as it used to. According to the American Stroke Association, nearly 1 in 3 strokes in older adults is linked not just to lifestyle or genetics, but to hidden dietary triggers that most people never think twice about. And here's the scariest part. Many of those triggers come from the foods we believe are the healthiest, including some vegetables that can interfere with blood flow, alter potassium balance, or promote oxidative stress in aging arteries. But it's not all bad news, because while some vegetables quietly raise your risk, others, the right ones, can actually reverse the damage. They can clean your arteries, lower your blood pressure, and strengthen the delicate vessels in your brain. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 vegetables that naturally prevent stroke and 5 that quietly raise your risk. You'll learn which ones to keep on your plate and which ones to replace. So every meal you eat helps protect your brain, not harm it. Because at your age, every bite matters. And the line between healthy and harmful is much thinner than you think. So stay with me until the end. You might just find that one small change in your diet could be the difference between a strong heartbeat and a silent warning your body can't take back. Number 1. Spinach, the everyday green that strengthens blood flow and protects the brain. For many older adults, spinach might seem like just another leafy green, something you toss into a salad or cook with eggs for breakfast. But this humble vegetable hides a secret. It's one of the most powerful natural protectors of your heart and brain. You see, as we age, the arteries that carry blood to the brain and heart start to lose their flexibility. They stiffen, narrow, and become less responsive to changes in blood pressure. That's why so many seniors experience fatigue, dizziness, or even mini strokes without realizing their circulation is slowly declining. But here's where spinach shines. It's one of the richest natural sources of nitrates, compounds your body converts into nitric oxide, a gas that relaxes and widens your blood vessels. When your arteries open up, blood flows more freely, your blood pressure drops naturally, and oxygen can reach every part of your body, especially your brain. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who ate just 1 cup of cooked spinach per day had lower systolic blood pressure by an average of 11 points and showed improved blood flow to the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for memory and coordination. Spinach also contains folate, vitamin K, and magnesium, 3 nutrients that work together to prevent clots and inflammation. Folate helps regulate homocysteine, a compound that, when elevated, can damage artery walls and increase stroke risk. Vitamin K strengthens capillaries and helps maintain calcium balance so it doesn't harden inside your arteries. And magnesium, one of the most underrated minerals in senior nutrition, helps your blood vessels relax, keeping your circulation steady and your heartbeat calm. But here's the best part. You don't have to eat spinach like a rabbit to get its benefits. You just need to add it the right way. Here's what doctors recommend. Eat it lightly cooked, not raw. Cooking spinach slightly helps release its nitrates and makes the nutrients easier to absorb. Steam or sauté it gently with olive oil and garlic, not butter or salt. Combine it with vitamin C-rich foods. A squeeze of lemon juice or a few slices of orange can help your body absorb the plant-based iron and folate more efficiently. Avoid pairing it with dairy or high-calcium supplements immediately after. Calcium can interfere with iron absorption, so leave at least 30 minutes between spinach and milk, yogurt, or calcium pills. If you take blood thinners, like warfarin, eat spinach consistently, not sporadically. Sudden changes in vitamin K intake can affect medication balance. You might not feel the difference in one day, but over time, your arteries will. Your blood will flow smoother, your brain will stay sharper, and your energy will last longer throughout the day. Spinach doesn't work like a pill. It works like a friend that quietly protects you, one meal at a time. So tomorrow morning, when you make your omelet or soup, add a handful of spinach. Not because it's trendy, but because it's one of the simplest, purest gifts you can give your heart and your brain. Because sometimes, the most powerful medicine isn't in a bottle. It's in a bowl of greens. Number 2. Broccoli, the anti-inflammatory vegetable that shields your arteries from stroke. When most people think of broccoli, they picture a simple side dish, maybe steamed, maybe sprinkled with a bit of cheese, something you eat because you should, not because you want to. But what if I told you this unassuming green tree is one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your arteries from stroke and heart disease? You see, stroke doesn't just happen because of high blood pressure or cholesterol. It happens when your arteries, the highways that carry blood to your brain, become inflamed, brittle, and blocked by plaque. And that inflammation often starts quietly, triggered by oxidative stress, poor diet, and everyday toxins. Broccoli is nature's antidote to that damage. It's rich in a compound called sulforaphane, a natural chemical found in cruciferous vegetables that activates your body's own defense system. When you eat broccoli, sulforaphane switches on specific genes in your cells that fight inflammation and neutralize free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that harm your blood vessels over time. A 2022 study from the American Journal of Hypertension found that adults who ate at least 3 servings of broccoli per week had 28% lower levels of C-reactive protein, CERP, a key marker of inflammation and early stroke risk. That's not all. Broccoli is packed with vitamin C, vitamin K, and fiber, each of which plays a vital role in heart and brain health. Vitamin C keeps your arteries flexible by preventing the breakdown of collagen in your blood vessel walls. Vitamin K helps regulate calcium, ensuring it strengthens your bones instead of hardening inside your arteries. And fiber helps remove excess cholesterol from your body before it can settle into your blood vessels. It's like giving your heart and brain a gentle daily cleaning. But here's what's even more impressive. Broccoli doesn't just prevent damage, it helps repair it. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that older adults who regularly consumed cruciferous vegetables had better endothelial function, meaning their arteries could expand and contract more easily to regulate blood pressure and blood flow. That flexibility is what keeps oxygen moving smoothly to your brain, helping prevent the sudden clots that lead to stroke. So how should you eat broccoli to get the most out of it? Here's what experts recommend. Don't overcook it. Steaming broccoli for just 3 to 4 minutes preserves sulforaphane and its antioxidant power. Boiling it too long destroys these delicate compounds. Add a squeeze of lemon juice or a drizzle of olive oil. Vitamin C and healthy fats enhance nutrient absorption. Combine it with garlic or turmeric. Both contain anti-inflammatory compounds that work synergistically with broccoli to protect your arteries. Eat it 3 to 5 times a week, Even small, consistent portions, half a cup per meal, can significantly reduce your risk of stroke over time. Broccoli isn't fancy. It doesn't come with bright labels or marketing claims. But inside those green florets lies one of the most powerful anti-stroke medicines nature ever made, quiet, consistent, and healing from the inside out. So the next time you're at the grocery store, don't walk past the broccoli. Pick it up, hold it, and know that you're holding a simple, living gift for your arteries, one that can keep your brain sharp, your heart strong, and your future free from the fears of stroke. Because sometimes, the most ordinary foods are the ones that quietly save your life. Number 3. Beet greens, the overlooked leaf that boosts oxygen and lowers stroke risk. Most people buy beets for the deep red roots, the ones that stain your cutting board and give your salads color. But what most seniors don't realize is that the real medicine is often thrown away: the leafy tops of the beet. Yes, the part many people cut off and toss in the trash is actually one of the most powerful foods for improving blood flow and protecting the brain from stroke. Beet greens are incredibly rich in natural nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and widens your blood vessels. When that happens, your heart doesn't have to work as hard, your blood pressure lowers naturally, and more oxygen reaches your brain and muscles. A 2023 study published in the Hypertension Journal found that seniors who consumed nitrate-rich vegetables like beet greens and arugula had 21% better blood vessel dilation and 18% fewer incidents of morning blood pressure spikes, a common trigger for strokes during sleep or early hours. But the benefits don't stop there. Beet greens are loaded with potassium, magnesium, and antioxidants that help maintain electrolyte balance and protect artery walls from damage. These nutrients keep your heartbeat steady and prevent the dangerous thickening of the blood that can occur in older adults who are dehydrated or under stress. They're also rich in vitamin K and beta-carotene, two nutrients that support brain health and memory by improving circulation and protecting neurons from oxidative stress. What makes beet greens so special, however, is their ability to oxygenate your body naturally. When blood flow improves, your cells receive more oxygen, and oxygen is life. It helps your heart pump smoothly, your brain stay alert, and your muscles recover faster after walking or exercise. It's no wonder Olympic athletes use beet juice to boost endurance and blood flow. But for seniors, this same mechanism can mean fewer dizzy spells, better focus, and a stronger defense against stroke. Here's how to use beet greens the right way. Cook them lightly. Steaming or sautéing for just a few minutes helps preserve nitrates and nutrients. Avoid overcooking, which can reduce their oxygen-boosting power. Pair them with citrus or vinegar. A squeeze of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar enhances nitrate absorption and adds flavor. Avoid excess salt or bacon fat when cooking. Many people stir-fry greens with salty or fatty ingredients, which can completely cancel out their benefits and raise blood pressure instead. Try blending them into smoothies. Combine a handful of beet greens with banana, berries, or Greek yogurt for a nutrient-rich breakfast that supports circulation all day. Beet greens may not look glamorous, but they're one of nature's quiet powerhouses, a food that helps your body do what it was designed to do: circulate, heal, and stay alive. So the next time you buy a bunch of beets, don't throw away those beautiful green leaves. They might just be the simplest, most affordable way to keep your arteries open, your brain clear, and your mornings free from the silent danger of stroke. Because sometimes, the part we overlook is the very thing our heart has been needing all along. Number 4. Kale, the brain-boosting green that strengthens arteries and memory. There's a reason kale is called a superfood, but for seniors it's not just a trend, it's a true lifeline for the heart and brain. Kale, especially the red and lacinato varieties, is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that directly protect the blood vessels that keep your heart beating and your brain thinking clearly. You see, one of the biggest risks for stroke in older adults is arterial stiffness, when the blood vessels lose their elasticity, making it harder for blood to reach the brain. But kale is loaded with vitamin K, omega-3 fatty acids, and polyphenols that help keep those vessels flexible and strong. Vitamin K, often overlooked, plays a silent but crucial role. It directs calcium to your bones where it belongs, instead of letting it build up in your arteries. That means less calcification, better circulation, and lower stroke risk. A 2022 study from the Journal of the American Heart Association found that people who regularly ate green leafy vegetables like kale had a 21% lower risk of ischemic stroke compared to those who rarely ate them. And the benefits go beyond blood flow. Kale is rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier to protect neurons from oxidative stress. These compounds improve cognitive function, reduce memory decline, and may even slow the progression of dementia. That's why nutritionists often call kale brain fuel for aging adults. But here's something most people don't know. Kale's omega-3 content, though plant-based, is remarkably effective at reducing inflammation in arteries. Combined with its high potassium and magnesium levels, it helps stabilize blood pressure and prevents the tiny clots that can lead to a sudden stroke. Yet, as powerful as kale is, it must be used wisely, because even good foods can lose their magic if prepared wrong. Here's what experts recommend. Steam or sauté lightly. Overcooking kale destroys vitamin C and antioxidants. Just 3 to 4 minutes of gentle heat keeps its nutrients alive. Add a healthy fat. A drizzle of olive oil or a few slices of avocado helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins A and K more efficiently. Avoid eating kale raw in excess. Raw kale contains goitrogens, which can interfere with thyroid function if eaten in large amounts. Cooking reduces that risk while preserving the benefits. Pair with citrus or garlic. Vitamin C from lemon juice or sulfur compounds from garlic boost absorption and enhance kale's anti-inflammatory power. For seniors struggling with fatigue or brain fog, a warm bowl of kale soup or a kale and egg breakfast can do more than satisfy hunger. It can restore clarity, calm the heart, and bring back the lightness you may have forgotten. Every bite of kale is like sending your blood vessels a message of healing, softening them, strengthening them, and helping your brain stay sharp. So the next time you see kale at the market, don't walk past it because it looks ordinary. Pick it up because those green, slightly curled leaves carry one of the most natural shields against aging arteries and silent strokes. Because when your brain and heart are well fed, every moment of life feels clearer, calmer, and stronger. Number 5. Watercress. The cleansing green that keeps your blood vessels clear and strong. If there's one vegetable that almost no one talks about, yet deserves a place on every senior's plate, it's watercress. This delicate green, often found near streams and ponds, might look fragile, but inside, it holds one of the strongest natural defenses against stroke and heart disease. In fact, watercress has been recognized as the most nutrient-dense vegetable in the world, according to a study by the Centers for Disease Control, CDC. It ranks higher than spinach, kale, and broccoli in overall nutrient concentration per calorie, making it one of nature's quiet champions for circulation and longevity. So what makes watercress so powerful? First, it's incredibly rich in nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, the same compound that helps open blood vessels and improve oxygen delivery. That means better circulation to your brain, lower blood pressure, and reduced risk of blood clots. Second, watercress is loaded with vitamin K, vitamin C, and beta-carotene, a trio that keeps your arteries flexible and your blood clear. Vitamin K helps direct calcium away from your arteries. Vitamin C supports collagen in your vessel walls, and beta-carotene fights oxidative stress, all essential for preventing the silent buildup that leads to stroke or heart failure. But what makes watercress truly unique is its detoxifying power. It contains compounds called isothiocyanates, which help the liver remove toxins and excess cholesterol from your blood. These natural chemicals act like tiny scrub brushes, cleaning out your arteries and restoring balance to your cardiovascular system. A 2021 clinical trial published in Nutrients Journal found that seniors who ate watercress at least 4 times per week had significantly lower LDL cholesterol, better blood flow to the brain, and improved endothelial function, which means their arteries stayed flexible and responsive, even under stress. For those recovering from high blood pressure or mild stroke symptoms, this simple vegetable can be a quiet, consistent healer. Here's how to use watercress the right way. Add it fresh to your meals. Watercress loses nutrients quickly when overcooked, so enjoy it raw in salads or lightly blanched in soups. Pair it with healthy fats. Olive oil or avocado helps absorb its fat-soluble antioxidants. Combine it with citrus or berries. Vitamin C from fruit enhances watercress's cleansing power. Avoid adding salt. Watercress has a naturally peppery flavor. It doesn't need extra sodium, which could raise your blood pressure. And if you have trouble chewing raw greens, try blending watercress into a smoothie with cucumber, apple, and lemon. It's refreshing, hydrating, and gives your circulation an instant boost. Many seniors ignore watercress because it's not as common as spinach or kale. But those who include it regularly often notice something subtle yet powerful. Less swelling in the legs, more steady energy, and clearer thinking. That's because when your arteries are clean, your body runs like it was meant to. Calm, steady, alive. So the next time you walk through the grocery store, look for that small bundle of bright green leaves. It may not shout for attention, but it quietly holds one of the greatest gifts of nature. A way to keep your heart open, your mind sharp, and your blood flowing freely, no matter your age. Because watercress isn't just food, it's nature's gentle way of saying, I've got your heart covered. Now that we've explored the 5 vegetables that keep your heart strong and your arteries clear, it's time to look at the other side of the story. The vegetables that seem harmless, but quietly raise your risk of stroke, especially if you're over 60. Number 1. Pickled vegetables. The salty trap that damages arteries and raises blood pressure. From crunchy pickles on a sandwich to homemade kimchi or sauerkraut with dinner, pickled vegetables have become a staple for many seniors. They're flavorful, easy to store, and often considered good for digestion. But what few people realize is that these tangy foods come with a hidden danger. Salt. Lots and lots of salt. During the pickling process, vegetables are soaked in brine, a concentrated mix of sodium chloride, vinegar, and sometimes sugar, to preserve them for months. That salt doesn't just stay in the jar. It seeps deep into every fiber of the vegetable. And when you eat it, your bloodstream absorbs it instantly. For a healthy young body, that may not seem like a big deal. But for seniors, whose kidneys and arteries are more sensitive, that sudden spike in sodium can be enough to raise blood pressure for hours, even days. According to the American Heart Association, just one serving of pickled vegetables can contain 800 to 1,200 milligrams of sodium, more than half of the daily limit recommended for older adults. And if you add soy sauce, canned soup, or bread to the same meal, you could easily double that number without even realizing it. Excess sodium draws water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume and pressure. Over time, this constant strain can weaken artery walls, cause micro tears in the vessels that feed your brain, and make you far more vulnerable to stroke or heart failure. In fact, A 2022 study from the Journal of Hypertension found that seniors who consumed high-sodium diets had a 35% higher risk of stroke, even when their cholesterol and weight were normal. Pickled foods also carry another hidden risk: fermentation byproducts. When over-fermented or improperly stored, they can produce histamines and tyramine, compounds known to constrict blood vessels and trigger spikes in blood pressure or headaches. So, what can you do if you love that tangy crunch? Here's what cardiologists suggest. Limit portion size. 2 tablespoons of pickled vegetables are fine, but not half a plate. Rinse before eating. Rinsing under cold water can remove up to 30% of the surface salt. Make your own version. Use apple cider vinegar, herbs, and just a pinch of sea salt. You'll get the flavor without the flood of sodium. Balance with potassium-rich foods. Eat a banana, avocado, or a handful of spinach alongside. Potassium helps your body flush out excess sodium naturally. Pickled vegetables aren't evil. They can be part of a healthy diet, if used sparingly. But for many seniors, what starts as a small side dish slowly turns into a daily salt habit that silently wears down the heart and brain. So the next time you reach for that jar of pickles, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this adding flavor to my meal or pressure to my arteries? Because sometimes, the foods that make us feel alive on the tongue can slowly take life away from the heart. Number 2. Green tomatoes. The unripe danger that can tighten arteries and disrupt heart rhythm. Most people think of tomatoes as one of the healthiest foods on earth, full of lycopene, antioxidants, and heart protective compounds. And that's true when they're ripe. But the story changes completely when the tomato is still green. Green, unripe tomatoes contain a natural chemical called solanine, a bitter-tasting alkaloid that plants produce to protect themselves from insects. While small amounts may not cause harm, too much solanine can quietly interfere with your nervous system and blood vessels. For seniors, this can be especially dangerous. You see, solanine can cause constriction of blood vessels, which means less oxygen gets to your brain and heart. It also interferes with nerve signaling, which can lead to irregular heartbeats, dizziness, and in some cases, even a sudden spike in blood pressure. According to a 2023 review in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older adults who frequently consumed unripe or partially ripe nightshade vegetables, like green tomatoes, eggplants, or green potatoes, had a 22% higher risk of circulatory irregularities, including transient ischemic attacks, mini-strokes. The danger here is subtle. You might not feel sick right away. You might just notice your heart racing after a meal, or your hands feeling cold or slightly numb. But those are the quiet signs that your blood flow and nerves are being affected. And the problem is that many seniors eat green tomatoes without realizing they're unripe. In some Southern-style or Mediterranean dishes, fried green tomatoes are considered a delicacy. But frying them in oil doesn't destroy solanine. In fact, it can make matters worse by increasing oxidative stress. So instead of protecting your heart, you're feeding it something that tightens your arteries and stresses your nervous system at the same time. Another hidden danger? Combining green tomatoes with salty or spicy foods. This combination can constrict your arteries even more and raise your blood pressure rapidly. A perfect storm for stroke risk if you already have hypertension. So how can you enjoy tomatoes safely? Here's what nutritionists and cardiologists recommend. Always choose fully ripe tomatoes. Ripe tomatoes are deep red, soft to the touch, and have lost nearly all traces of solanine. That's when they're richest in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to reduce stroke risk by up to 26%. Avoid cooking with green tomatoes. If you're unsure, let them ripen at room temperature for several days until they turn red or orange. Don't rely on fried green tomato recipes. Even though they taste nostalgic, they combine solanine, oxidized oil, and salt, a dangerous trio for aging arteries. Pair red tomatoes with olive oil. This enhances the absorption of lycopene and strengthens the anti-inflammatory effect on your arteries. Think of it this way. The color of your tomato tells you the story of your health. Green means not ready. Red means ready to heal. So if you want to protect your brain, keep your heart rhythm steady and reduce your risk of stroke, leave the green tomatoes on the windowsill a little longer, because patience, just like ripening, is often what keeps the heart safe. Number 3. Bamboo shoots, the hidden toxin that can raise blood pressure and damage arteries. They look harmless, thin, pale, and crisp. For many, bamboo shoots are a favorite in soups, stir-fries, and Asian-inspired meals. They add texture, a subtle crunch, and the feeling of eating something natural. But here's what most people don't realize. Bamboo shoots can quietly release a toxin that affects your heart and blood vessels, especially if they're not prepared properly. You see, raw or undercooked bamboo shoots contain a compound called cyanogenic glycosides. When digested, these compounds can release hydrogen cyanide, a toxic substance that interferes with your body's ability to use oxygen. For a young, healthy body, a small amount might not cause symptoms. But in older adults, especially those with weakened circulation or heart conditions, even mild exposure can lead to headaches, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, and in more serious cases, a dangerous drop in blood oxygen levels. According to a 2022 report from the Food and Chemical Toxicology Journal, cyanide from improperly prepared bamboo shoots can temporarily reduce oxygen transport in red blood cells by up to 18%, forcing the heart to work harder just to supply the brain. That increased strain can raise blood pressure and worsen existing vascular problems. But there's another less-known risk: oxalates. Bamboo shoots are naturally high in oxalic acid, the same compound found in spinach and beets, but in much higher concentrations. When oxalates build up in the bloodstream, they can form microscopic crystals that irritate the blood vessel lining, promoting inflammation and clot formation. For seniors already at risk of stroke, this double hit, cyanide and oxalate, is a combination worth avoiding. Now, does that mean you should never eat bamboo shoots again? Not necessarily. It means you must handle them the right way. Here's how to make them safe. Always boil bamboo shoots thoroughly before eating. Boiling for at least 20 to 30 minutes in fresh water can remove up to 95% of cyanogenic compounds. Never eat them raw or lightly cooked. Change the water halfway through cooking. This helps leach out more toxins. Avoid canned or pickled bamboo shoots with added salt. Many processed versions are extremely high in sodium. 1 cup can contain over 800 milligrams, enough to spike blood pressure for hours. Limit portions to once or twice a week. Treat bamboo shoots as an occasional side dish, not a daily vegetable. Pair with potassium-rich foods. Foods like avocado, banana, or beet greens help balance sodium levels and support smooth blood flow. The danger with bamboo shoots is subtle. They don't cause pain. They don't leave visible symptoms. But they quietly make your heart work harder and your arteries more vulnerable. That's why doctors in Japan and Korea, where bamboo shoots are commonly eaten, often remind older patients to boil the bitterness away. Because in that bitterness lies the warning. For seniors in America, this advice is just as true. What seems fresh and natural isn't always gentle on an aging heart. So the next time you see bamboo shoots on a menu or at the market, remember, it's not about avoiding tradition. It's about respecting your body's limits. Because one small choice, like boiling an extra 10 minutes, can be the difference between nourishing your heart and quietly straining it. Number 4. Fava beans, the hidden trigger, that can spike blood pressure and stress the brain. At first glance, fava beans look completely innocent. Soft, hearty, and high in protein, they're often found in soups, stews, and Mediterranean diets, a favorite among people who believe they're eating healthy. But for some seniors, these beans can quietly become one of the most dangerous foods on the plate. You see, fava beans contain a natural compound called L-DOPA, the same chemical used in certain medications for Parkinson's disease. Inside your body, L-DOPA converts to dopamine, a neurotransmitter that affects both your mood and your blood pressure. In moderation, this might not sound bad, but when eaten in large amounts or combined with certain medications, L-DOPA can cause sudden surges in blood pressure and erratic heart rhythms. This reaction is sometimes called favism, a condition triggered by a sensitivity to compounds in fava beans. It's most dangerous for people who have a mild genetic deficiency in an enzyme called G6PD, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, something many people don't even know they have. In seniors with this deficiency, eating fava beans can lead to the destruction of red blood cells, a condition known as hemolytic anemia. That means less oxygen gets to your heart and brain, causing weakness, dizziness, shortness of breath, and in severe cases, even stroke-like symptoms. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Internal Medicine found that older adults with reduced G6PD activity were nearly twice as likely to experience hypertensive spikes and microvascular stress after eating foods high in L-DOPA, like fava beans. But even without this enzyme deficiency, fava beans can still pose a risk. Their tyramine content, a natural amino acid found in aged or fermented foods, can constrict blood vessels and elevate blood pressure, especially if you're taking MAOI antidepressants or blood pressure medication. That's why cardiologists warn. What feels like just another bowl of beans can, under the wrong circumstances, overstimulate your nervous system and silently stress your heart. The signs are often subtle: a pounding headache, a sudden feeling of warmth in your face, lightheadedness, or your pulse racing for no clear reason. Many people mistake it for stress or dehydration, when in fact, it's a reaction happening inside their bloodstream. Here's what you can do to stay safe. If you're taking blood pressure or Parkinson's medication, avoid fava beans. The L-DOPA and tyramine content can dangerously amplify drug effects. Ask your doctor about G6PD deficiency. A simple blood test can reveal whether you're at risk of favism. If you do eat them, cook them thoroughly. Boiling for at least 10 minutes reduces L-DOPA levels, though it doesn't remove the risk entirely. Choose safer legumes. Lentils, chickpeas, and black beans offer similar protein without the chemical triggers that can strain your arteries. Watch for symptoms within 1 hour. If you feel dizzy, weak, or your heartbeat becomes irregular, avoid fava beans completely in the future. For decades, fava beans have been praised as part of the Mediterranean diet. But what's healthy for one person isn't always safe for another, especially when the body changes with age. Your heart doesn't just need nutrients, it needs stability. So if you've ever felt uneasy after eating fava beans, don't ignore it. Your body may be giving you an early warning before something more serious happens. Because when it comes to stroke prevention, listening to your own heartbeat is often the most important test of all. Number 5. Celery, the healthy vegetable that can thin your blood and raise stroke risk. If there's one vegetable that perfectly shows how even healthy foods can become harmful in excess, it's celery. For decades, celery has been praised as the ultimate diet food. It's light, crunchy, low in calories, and often found in smoothies, soups, and detox drinks. Many seniors eat it daily to control blood pressure or reduce bloating. But here's the hidden truth. Celery, when eaten in large amounts or mixed with certain medications, can thin your blood too much, increasing your risk of internal bleeding or stroke, especially if you're already taking blood thinners. You see, celery contains natural compounds called coumarins. the same family of chemicals used to create the prescription drug warfarin. In small doses, coumarins can improve circulation and prevent clots. But when combined with blood-thinning medications like aspirin, clopidogrel, or warfarin itself, they can push your blood's clotting ability too far in the other direction. That's when the real danger begins. Instead of preventing stroke, your blood can become so thin that even a small vessel rupture in the brain can turn into a major bleed, a hemorrhagic stroke. According to a 2023 report from the American Heart Association, nearly 12% of stroke-related hospitalizations in adults over 65 involved patients who were taking blood thinners and consuming large amounts of natural coumarin-rich foods, including celery and parsley. The problem doesn't end there. Celery is also naturally high in sodium, not as much as processed foods, but enough that frequent consumption in juices or soups can raise blood pressure if you're sensitive to salt. And when eaten raw on an empty stomach, celery juice can cause a sudden drop in blood sugar, which may leave seniors feeling dizzy or lightheaded, a condition often mistaken for fatigue or dehydration. That's why cardiologists often refer to celery as a double-edged vegetable. It can help or harm, depending entirely on how you use it. Here's how to keep celery safe. Avoid drinking pure celery juice daily. Once or twice a week is fine, but daily consumption can upset your electrolyte balance and thin your blood too much. If you're on blood thinners, eat it in moderation. Limit to 1 to 2 stalks a day, and tell your doctor if you plan to use celery as part of a detox routine. Cook it lightly when possible. Cooking reduces coumarin content by about 30%, making it gentler on your system. Don't mix it with parsley or ginger. Both contain similar compounds that can amplify its blood-thinning effects. Hydrate well. Celery is mildly diuretic, so always pair it with plenty of water to prevent dehydration or dizziness. Celery is not your enemy, but it's also not as harmless as it seems. Like many healthy foods, its benefits depend on balance and awareness. For most seniors, a few crisp stalks of celery here and there can support hydration and circulation. But when consumed in excess, especially alongside medication, it can quietly undo the very protection you're hoping for. So before you reach for that next glass of green juice, pause and think. Is my heart asking for healing or for rest? Because the truth is, even the healthiest foods can become harmful when your body's signals are ignored. And understanding those signals, that's what truly keeps the heart safe. Every day, your heart beats about 100,000 times, sending blood, oxygen, and life through miles of arteries. And every one of those beats depends on the choices you make at the table. Some vegetables heal those arteries, helping them stay soft, flexible, and full of life. Others, though they look harmless, can slowly tighten them, raising the risk of a stroke that no one ever sees coming. But the good news is this: you have the power to decide which side of that line you live on. It doesn't require expensive supplements or strict diets, just awareness, consistency, and a little bit of love for your own body. Start small. Add a handful of spinach to breakfast, a few florets of broccoli to dinner, and skip the overly salty or pickled side dishes. Your arteries will thank you in ways you can't see, through steady energy, clearer thinking, and quiet mornings without fear. Because every meal is a message to your heart. Make it one that says, I choose life. I choose balance. If this video helped you, please subscribe to Senior Health Tips and share it with someone you love. Together, we can protect more hearts, one mindful choice at a time.